Hey, what's up? So I haven't recorded one of these in a very long time. Two things. Two things. I think that bunch of things actually. Now that I think about this, um, right now the reason I feel like I haven't recorded one of these is because I think that I started making these as a catalog because of my own ego, right? I think I thought that I wanted to believe that I was on this grand journey, right? Of like, I firmly believed, I guess because I was raised being told that I was special and different, right? By my mom primarily. And, I think that I selectively looked for information throughout my life that backed that up, right? So whenever I got encouraging words from a professor or a teacher or anyone who would support that worldview, I think that I listened heavily to them and connected them in my mind and made a pattern out of that and then internalized that, right? And said, okay, I am going to be special and different for the and my evidence and proof is that I affect people differently than others affect people, and here are people who have said that to me, and therefore I'm significant because these people have said so, and this is evidence. I think that I think that that's led me to do projects that are, ambitious and not bad ideas, right? And I'm never going to say that. I don't know. I think that has made me who I am, right? But I think this in particular, I think it serves multiple functions because there is utility in doing this and in listening to what you think and to clarify and articulating thoughts in your mind so that you can go back over them and assess them, right? I think that there is real value in that, but I also think that there is some ego in it. I think that it accomplishes this like bolstering effect of like, yes, this is my identity, right? And it shouldn't. It bugs me that is going into this, right? So I think that that's why I've recorded these less frequently. Yeah. Anyway, the other thing I was thinking about is that so I was watching a Casey Neistat video. Casey Neistat hasn't released a video in about a month now, and I got thinking about that, and I think in some of his newer conversations and some of his new mentality, right, is that he is focusing time on his family, and I think I think he has to say that because I mean, fuck, okay, I think that that's extremely noble, right? I think that's an extremely noble thing to do. But I think that when he articulated his worldview, and when he was articulating his worldview for like 3 years, with a daily video every day for 3 years, I think that it was incomplete, and I think he acknowledged that, and he did it well, right? But okay, so what is that worldview, and how is it incomplete? That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Casey Neistat's worldview that he outlined during that 3-year period, which I really wanted to model my entire life off of. I bought his poster. I studied him as an individual, studied his body of work, studied his past, studied his tendencies, studied some of the tactics that he used, really listened to just about every piece of advice that he ever gave on record ever, and tried to live that. Maybe not to a T. I'm not a distance runner. I don't have the same loves as he does. I don't think I love eclectic film the way he does, Like, I like film mostly for comedy. I think storytelling is interesting, but I think that comedy and connecting with other people is more interesting, and discussing ideas. I think that that's more interesting to me than storytelling, honestly. I think the impact that stories have on other people is cool, but I don't know. I think we like different things about it. So I think that I struggled to follow his advice to a T and follow his worldview to a T, and rightfully so, right? Because it's like, I'm my own person. I have many things in my life that make me much more interesting in some respects than he has, right? So there's that ego I was talking about. Whatever. But I think it's an incomplete worldview, right? And I think he knew that, and I think it led him to a bad spot, and he's talked about this, and yeah, I think it's incomplete, right? Why is that? Cool. Let's talk about it as like a character building thing, right? If we're making a Skyrim character, there are kind of two ways to play the game, right? The first type of character you can get is a min-maxed character, right? So basically, you can, at the beginning of the game, you're given, let's say you're given, this isn't the case in Skyrim, but let's say you're given 100 experience points, right? And there's like 20 different skills, and you can do whatever you want, right? So you can put 5 in each skill, right? That would be the opposite of min-maxing, right? That's kind of just this like well-rounded static character who's like pretty mediocre at almost everything, but competent at almost everything. Then you can min-max, right? You can max out some of the stats. You can max out 5 of the stats, right? And then leave the other stats as empty as possible, right? Cool. I think that there are both benefits and drawbacks to both of those strategies, right? I think the benefits of min-maxing, right, or even the perceived benefits of making and this is in real life, making a min-maxed character build, right? And what are some examples of so let's talk about perceived benefits. Let's talk about examples of min-maxing your how you live, right? I think it's inherently never mind, that's an effect. There's a lot we could talk about. Some examples, right? Examples of min-maxing your life are saying, okay, I'm going to schedule my time to a T, so much so that I am at this time during the day, I am practicing these skills so that I can get better at them more efficiently, more quickly, so that I can become a master of them. Right, so I'm going to practice piano every single day for 2 hours a day, and this is when I'm going to do it. And cool, I'm going to structure my entire life around that. Right, so cool, I'm going to go to sleep at these certain times throughout, right, and I'm going to live and die by that. Cool. It's ordering your life in service to a goal, and that goal to be maximize your ability to do a certain skill, right? Leave things like friends, family, other like non-essential things, maybe your own personal health. Some people sacrifice that in pursuit of what they want, right? If it's career, if they're trying to maximize their career, maximize the amount of money they make, they might, leave their health at risk. Others might not, whatever, fuck it. But whatever, cool, right? So basically this idea of, in order to do everything I can to put myself into one skill and learn it as much as possible, I'm going to organize my life and sacrifice other things. I'm going to min-max my skill set. So those are some examples. I think we understand what it is. Perceptions of that, right? I think that, cool, from an outside perspective, why would that provide utility, right? Well, cool. Everyone inherently wants to master something, right? Why? In society, we look up to the people who are best at things, right? People look up to Michael Jordan, right? So some people devote their entire lives to being like, cool, I want people to look up to me one day the way people look up to Michael Jordan. So they might fucking structure their lives around playing basketball, right? Because he's their idol and he's their hero, and they want to be like Mike. Cool. Sweet. I wanted to be like Casey Neistat, right? He's one of the best filmmakers. He's one of the best mainstream, or at the time, probably arguably for a multiple day stretch, he was the best filmmaker in terms of a certain set of standards, you could argue. I think he's won a Streamy too, so I mean that is what that means, right? Same thing with like David Dobrik, right? I wanted to structure my life. I wanted that mastery skill level, right? Cool. Like, that is a perceived benefit, right? I think that the perceived benefits outweigh the real drawbacks to doing that, right? They undervalue what you're sacrificing, right? So basically, if you want to be the best filmmaker in the world, that might mean that you stop going to parties. That might mean that your friends, because you don't go to, you say no to some of your friends' parties, they don't want to be friends with you in the future, right? You might stop taking care of your health, which, like, you think, okay, cool, well, I'll just be a little chubbier and that's okay. Well, cool, you don't understand that your health literally affects your day-to-day mood, right? And your physical appearance and your day-to-day mood really determine, and your level of friends, like, that determines, the people that you meet and, like, the people who are attracted to you, right? So you probably, if you're min-maxing, right, you're probably not going to have a girlfriend. You're probably not going to have a lot of friends, right? You're probably going to risk your health. Yeah. And some people, if you watch the movie Whiplash, right, the whole movie is about making sacrifices so that he can min-max his character for the most efficient drumming build in the game, right? And there are multiple scenes. There is a scene where he breaks up with this girl in this diner, and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Well, I want to be the best drummer in the world, and you're going to slow me down." And she looks at him like he's a fucking psycho. And it's like, cool. And cool, right? But I think that we put that on a pedestal, or at least I was putting that on a pedestal, right? This is a martyr. This person is a goddamn legend, right? They sacrificed and risked everything to maximize a skill, right? Because they wanted to be the best in the world, right? And I think I lived by that for a long time. I came down here, I did these, I created this room with the idea that I'm going to make a video every day, and I'm going to become the best at it ever, right? I don't have the type of personality that lends itself to min-maxing a character. Part of me wishes I did, I think, that's exactly it, it's part of me. But here's the other thing, I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable at all, right? You look at Casey Neistat, fucking can't do it, right? And Casey did it for the longest out of anybody, right? Casey did it for 3 fucking years, and he still couldn't do it, right? That's a guy that would run 15 miles a day and get like 4 hours of sleep and edit a video, right? He was burning the candle at all ends, as much fucking candle wax as you can get, gone. You got it, gone. He can't do it. So you look at anybody who performs at that level, I don't think it's sustainable. And if it is sustainable for some people, you look at people like Elon Musk, hopefully we don't have some terrible tragedy in the news where Elon Musk dies of a heart attack, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. I don't think it would surprise anybody if he fucking had a stroke some of these days, because the guy doesn't sleep and all he does is work in 3 different companies, right? So I don't think it's sustainable. I also think that that life doesn't work that way, right? There's a reason why the movie Whiplash is not a documentary, right? It's a fictionalized story of this kid who makes these sacrifices, goes through struggle, and then, at the end ultimately is successful, right? And I guess on the way he kind of learns what I'm building to, because he comes back to drumming after going through this period, but whatever. Anyway, there's a reason why that's not a documentary, right? And because it's I don't think it reflects real life, right? You can't just min-max because you end up looking like shit. You don't have a girlfriend, you don't have any friends, and nobody really wants to hang out with you. And those things, and you have a bad attitude, right? Because you have bad health. Those things affect how you do what you are trying to maximize, right? So basically, if you want to be the best drummer in the world and you don't have any of those things, and your mental health and your mental state, you're constantly angry, and you're just pissed off all the time. Even if you fucking play the drums, I don't know. I feel like it's not going to have like the inspiration and lightness that something like, I don't know, an art like that would require. Maybe that's incorrect. In the movie he talks about like how it's basically this precise thing and people like to flower it up. But for what I do, I can tell you right now for a fucking fact that like when I do like improv comedy, maybe that's a specific example, but when I do improv comedy, if I have a pissed off set where I haven't hung out with friends in a long time and I've just been this big secluded fat angry asshole for a while, I'm going to have a really shitty set. And I don't think that that's just me. I think that if you do that for literally anything, I mean, I think sports is also different in this, right? Because it's like, I guess you're maximizing your health. So maybe that, whatever. Maybe I should have been a jock. And I would have been happier. Because then, you know, when you look good, you probably have, and that's probably also a great way to make friends too. So I guess that's probably why sports are so cool. And I didn't do them. So, you know, fuck me. Anyway. I think what I'm trying to reach here is that min-maxing for me doesn't work, right? What I think instead works a lot better as a strategy is balance, right? I think that when I trace back the successes of my life, when I really felt the best and when I really had the best results, right, is when I surrounded myself with people who wanted the best for me because they enjoyed spending time with me. Because, so when I was in an improv group and I was good friends with the people there, and when, I was in that club, I was in the improv club, and I was good friends with the people there. When I was in 8-Beat Measure and I was really good friends with the kids there, I got these groups of friends, right? And my living situation was good, right? I was living with friends. Cool. What did that afford me? Well, a girlfriend, right? When you're in communities like that and you can be perceived in the social hierarchy, right? And people want to be around you, right? You're up here and suddenly like people want to be with you, right? Cool, you're desirable. It's really hard to be desirable to other people when you don't know anybody and you're like, you just showed up and it's like, who the fuck is this guy, right? And cool, being in those communities, right? I met people that helped me towards my goals, right? And they were willing to work with me to get to those goals, right? So in the min-maxing model, right, it assumes that you have this unlimited capacity to work towards your goal, right? I don't know about you, but I don't have that. I quit things if I'm not enjoying the process, or if I don't value the goal more than life itself, right? If I'm really experiencing something hard to do or pain, then I tend to stop doing that. And that's just me, I'm not this gritty fucking person. I think that I can be in certain instances, but I think it's a lot easier for me to work towards things when I know that this too will pass, right? When I have balance around me. And I think that has been my major realization in the past couple of months. Basically this idea that like min-maxing is too good to be true. In that, the things that you have to give up tend to hurt more than you think. They tend to detract from your ability to attain whatever skill you're trying to attain. And I think a much better way to live is to achieve balance, right? I think still have those same aspirations, but understand that I think the appeal of min-maxing too is like, it will be quicker. I will get there quicker. And I don't think that's true, right? I think the effects of cutting off your friends and family and ties and only doing a certain amount of stuff, I think that actually slows your progress. I think that people who are mentally healthy, socially healthy, physically healthy, are better able to develop skills. And so, yeah, that's what I've learned. And so ways I'm doing that, and ways that is helping me try to get to these goals, right? I've really become an active member in some of the improv clubs around here, right? There's a jam that people do improv jams all the time around here. There's a theater. I have an audition on Wednesday. I really hope I get it. But at the same time, if I don't get it, what does that mean? It means that I have not invested enough time into that community. And, I think it's a 50-50 right now, But I think the thing is that if I don't get it, I'm not going to be crushed, right? I'm still going to want to go to this stuff, right? I'm still going to want to be actively involved with these other people because of that balance. And it's just been great. It's been great to meet some friends who genuinely want the best for me. It's been great to meet some friends with similar interests. And it's been great. And I see people, there's one specific instance when this person genuinely, there are actually two specific instances where I said, hey, here are my goals and here's what I want to do. And then other people have gone out of their way to do either a lot of work, invest a lot of time into getting what I want to happen to actually happen. And that doesn't happen when you're min-maxing your life in a, again, this is a term that I coined about 8 months ago, in a success dungeon. Those words came out of my mouth. And it sounds fucking creepy as fuck right now, but I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway, I still think Casey Neistat's a really cool dude, but I think what he's learned too in these past couple of years is balance is important. You burn out when you burn out the candle. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking now. I talked for 22 minutes almost, so it's bound to be shitty.